Oh, is that you there? Hello.
Hello?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Club Stars Align. I realize that it does say Capricorn right there. I just realized that. All good. This is, in fact, the Aquarius edition. This is only our second episode, so bear with us. Our beautiful, wonderful friend Rick is helping us set up the show, so we're getting all situated. So bear with us. We're just easing in. How's everyone doing? Let's check in with the chat. Why don't you guys let us hit us up in the chat? Let us know how you're doing. You can just kind of sit for a sec.
Jake, I heard we have lots of competition tonight for our show. Want to
You
talk
know,
about
Mom, you're right.
Mhm.
That is true. Oh, and by the way, that's my mom. There's my
Oh,
mom, Denise.
hello.
That's my mom, Denise. I'm Jake. We are your hosts for Club Stars Line. And as my mom said, yes, we do have competition. AOC decided to just out of nowhere start a little stream. What is she important or something? What does she got to say? So maybe she'll raid our thing later. That'd be great with her 300,000 people that are watching her. They can jump in on our stream and learn all about what we have to talk about today. Um, Mom, how are you feeling today?
Great. Last time we were in the same house when we did our first show. Now you're in Chicago. I'm in St. Louis.
Yes.
Um,
It's our
yeah,
first
I'm
remote show. Although the last one was remote, but we released in the same building. Exactly.
right, right. And we learned so much. We had a great time at our last show. Really shout out to everybody who came to our inaugural episode. But we're definitely excited to be here. The energy is just so there's just so much going on right now, and I'm so excited to talk about how things have changed and what's going on right this minute. So happy to be
Totally.
here. Whoever can make it.
Well, and we've got so much to get into today. So I just got to make sure y'all know that. So again, the show is called Club Stars Align. We are artists in residence as the pilot residency for the program of the travel agency. That's the channel you're watching us on. A little bit about the travel agency. It is a digitally native platform that hosts contemporary art making, produces art centered entertainment, and provides digital residencies within multimedia exhibition opportunities. You can support our show by tipping with the link in the description. You can support the travel agency by following, subscribing, or donating bits. That would be very helpful. And just a little bit about the travel agency. There is a flagship show. Sorry, I got to get my center. There we go. Called Art Brunch. And we have a very special one coming up this Sunday. Where we will be eating a whole mess of pancakes. It'll be a real slowing it down episode. Rick and I will be celebrating ourselves being birthday boys. It'll be right in the middle of the two of ours show, or birthdays. Rick's birthday was just this past week, mine coming up at the end of February. So we're going to celebrate by eating our age in pancakes. And just really quick, what that means is we will be eating the amount of pancakes that we are years old, which in my case will be 29. So if you want to make sure to watch us perform this mukbang, as it's known, as the kids say, tune in this Sunday where we are bound to get way off the rails. So definitely check that out. That'll be Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Um, well, Mom, just real quick, why don't we talk to the people about just about this show a little bit and tell them a little bit about what we did last month and kind of what we've done so far.
Last month was fun because we harkened back to our origins. We talked about where Stars Align came from and kind of gave that whole history. But now we've charted new territory. So we actually have a history with Club Stars Align in the virtual realm. So here we are in our second episode. Very excited. We are finding like the our rhythm and like what works, and so we're going to try to stick to pretty much the same format we had last time. We're going to mix it up just a little bit because of what's been happening. But yeah, I'm excited about our format and about our giveaway. Jake, did you want to mention
I
that?
think just before I get into that, because I want to entice the chat a little longer with what we have to give away. But I want to say just shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for being here. I see Cash Stream. Thank you for being here. I believe your first time in the chat. Love to see that. We see Elena KB. Thank you so much. I hope you think we're doing great throughout the rest of the show as well, not just now. We've got some
Oh, got charged
Saint
with? Oh, you did, bro.
Farm with the pancakes emoji. Love that. So at some point we may just ask everyone to just spam us with pancakes at some point. Throw the P cakes in the chat. Information superhighway. Thank you for being here. Okay, well, yeah. So as my mom just mentioned, there is a giveaway. We must entice you because we can't just have you be on the show. We have to give you free stuff. So we're mixing it up a little bit. Last week or last month, excuse me. Actually, no, mom, you jump in here. You tell us about it since you're the one providing the gift.
Okay. Well, actually, I will back up a little bit and talk about the timing. Is we did our first show January 7th, and we did a lot of work to make sure it happened in Capricorn. But what we're going to do going forward is have Club Stars Line be the last Thursday night of every month, because the last Thursday night of every month happens to be the first week of that sign. So it's kind of weird in astrology; it doesn't line up with the actual dates. So it's 1 week at the end of 1 month, and 3 weeks into the next equals a sign. So we actually have only been 3 weeks since our last, show.
Yeah,
So tonight's 28th, and then we'll do the next one. I think it's February 24th or something.
25th, I believe, will
25th,
be the Pisces edition.
the
So
Pisces edition. So
as
that'll give us 4 weeks in between, and then we'll be in a rhythm then. So
For sure. So definitely make sure to check us out monthly. We are a monthly astrology slash dance party. So there will be two DJ sets the rest of this evening, one by myself and one by DJ Mix Riss of Boogie Nights of Quarantine. So definitely look out for that later on this evening. But yeah, we've must us dilly dither no more. Uh, let's
yeah.
tell them about the thing that they can get.
Okay. So our last show, we gave away $100 gift certificate, which was a full natal chart reading with your solar return onto it. So it was a pretty big value. And I was really excited to give that away to show people like what you can really learn and how useful astrology is in your life. And so shout out to Brad. We had a great time. It was so cool to meet somebody from I never met before in a completely different part of the country, and he was a great sport, and he learned he remembered things from the show we talked about, and then I said, hey, well, some of the things that we're seeing in your chart now we're going to talk about in this upcoming show. So that's what I hope, that people learn a lot from the show and learn more about how to like read their own chart or to understand astrology in general. So, in keeping with the fact that Valentine's Day falls in Aquarius, under the sign of Aquarius, we decided to give away a romance reading. So, instead of doing like your whole life blueprint reading, I'm going to narrow in just on the parts of your chart that describe the energies you have for romance. And so we will be focusing on the fifth house, which is romance, play, creativity, all those kinds of fun things. The seventh house, which is the house of partnership and commitment. We'll be looking at your Mars and Venus, which are the planets of love and sex, because everybody wants to hear about that. We're also going to zoom in on this really cool asteroid called Juno, which really describes what your ultimate life partner will be. I have so much fun, like reading that part of people's charts, and I'm so glad that I discovered that in my studies over the years. Not every astrologer uses it, but I really like to use it. So it'll be 30 minutes because it's just a shorter reading. We're not doing
Mhm.
your full chart, but it is a $60 value. So definitely worth, getting in the chat and put your name in the raffle. And, yeah,
Yeah.
it seems,
So
as I said, it seems, we get to the end of a lot of readings and people are like, can we go back and focus on the romance part? So we decided just to go ahead and just single out
trim the
that
fat.
and just give yourself plenty of time to just focus on that. So that's what
Totally.
we're gonna give away for Valentine's Day. So
We're just
there we go.
cutting the fat, getting straight to the point. And so, with that in mind, if you guys would like to enter to win that thing that we'll be giving away at the very end of the stream tonight, what you do is you will put in the chat exclamation point ticket, and everyone gets one free entry by doing that. You can buy additional entries by following, subbing, or tipping and subscribing. One of those. Uh, if you so again, exclamation point ticket, throw that up in the chat, then you will be entered. If you want to do more, do some stuff for us, show some love, get in the chat, not just with the pancakes, which I have truly enjoyed out there. Yes, Tea Green Girl, I am growing a beard. Thank you. I almost shaved it like 6 times this week, but I'm just going for it. I'm gonna see where this goes. I kind of hate it, but I also kind of love it. So we're working on it together. Um, Shout out to Caitlin in the chat. Thank you for joining, our sweet dear friend Caitlin. And I love this. This is blowing up with the tickets. Thank you guys. Thank you for jumping in on this. Um, so I guess without further ado, we can kind of get to business a little bit. We'll go ahead. Does that sound good to you, Mom?
What we're gonna do this time is we are gonna definitely just like go through the main points of what Aquarius themes are. And last time we just had like a sheet that like had all the words. This time we're gonna do it with pictures. And then because we've had some really startling and shocking events that are very Aquarian, we are gonna jump to the astro weather and do that in this first segment. Then go to Jake's DJ set. Then come back, and then we'll do our surprise celebrity. You know,
Chart
birth
reading.
chart in the second segment of the Astro Talk, and then we'll end up with Marissa, who our fabulous DJ at the very end. So, and then at the very very end, we give away the reading. So, and we say goodbye. So
For
that's
sure.
all.
So that's what to look forward to, folks. That'll be hope you'll stick around with us as we party through the evening. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and move to our next section, which we'll get those images up when we have a sec. In the meantime, I'll look over at the chat, see you guys are getting in on this. That is wonderful. And it looks like we are up here. Wonderful. So what planet do we have here, Mom, in terms of Aquarius?
Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about with astrology is everybody learns the signs. And these are it doesn't matter where you are in your astrology practice. Start where you can. It doesn't matter where you're learning, if it's on CoStar or whatever.
Hmm.
But when you really start to understand astrology is when you start to understand the language and the energy of the planets. So before we go anywhere, we are going to talk about the planet that rules Aquarius. And so Aquarius are the dates of January 20th through February 18th. And Aquarius it has two rulers. It has Saturn, and I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to show you my Saturn T-shirt I got for my
There we go.
birthday. I don't know. I can't see it. There it
We
is.
we had a T-shirt last time. I don't know if that we'll keep that up every time, but we
Right.
will have props and shirts, and
Right,
we've got a
right. This
whole
is my
show for
birthday present. My
folks.
birthday was January 18th. So I'm born on the cusp between Capricorn and Aquarius. I have a bunch of Aquarius planets. So I'm really psyched about this episode because I can talk about it, from
When it's
experience.
personal, it's good. There
It's
we go.
very personal. Yes, it is.
Yes.
So as you can see, it's Saturn and it's also Uranus. Okay, so you can see the rings on Saturn go high or horizontal, right? Now, all
Yes.
the planets rotate horizontally except for Uranus. And this is a
Mhm.
key thing. It rotates perpendicularly, not exactly, but whatever the elliptic is. But anyway, the point is, one of the funny things people say about Aquarians is they say they're crazy, right? And what's the symbol for people being crazy? You spin your finger by your head, right? So it
Oh.
kind of mimics, the planetary motion of Uranus, right? So anyway, I love it because it represents everything: counterculture, different ways of thinking, innovation, the future. So the mythology behind it is that Saturn is structure, but then it breaks out with Uranus and it innovates that structure. It doesn't completely annihilate it. I mean, sometimes it does if it has to be, but it's these flashes of brilliance where you can take what the form and then improve upon it. So anyway, that's what the mythology and energy is around Uranus. So
Well, and if you guys notice, my mom is just the queen of anecdotes, and that's why I think you're going to be here for us. Is that I actually have never seen you do this one, this
oh,
motion, and now I just Uranus. I'm calling Uranus right now. That's
oh
what.
my God. I know there's so many great jokes with this.
Woo!
I do want to say though, how we're always talking about, when the planets come back to their point in your chart, it's called a return. So like Saturn return, we talked about that in the last episode. That's every 27 years. Well, Uranus is far away and it only comes through every 84 years, right?
Mhm.
So what's interesting is when you have your Uranus opposition. So when this crazy planet is opposite where it was when you were born, is when you feel a lot of anytime you have an opposition in your chart, you feel a lot of energy and a lot of things shaking up. And that happens at the age of 42, which is often called the midlife crisis. So
Oh.
people suddenly do crazy things like buy a sports car or run off to a foreign country or whatever. You know what I mean? So just warning, 42 is looming. Be prepared. You thought you had to worry about your Saturn return. Now you have your, Uranus opposition to worry about. So
Oh my
anyway,
God, so much
yes.
to worry about.
So
So
many
shout out
things.
to our 41-year-olds. You got to
Right.
that to look forward to in 2021. So
But again, when you know these things are coming and you know that you have these energies and cycles in your life, that's what the astrology is about, is to help you understand what's going on. So there you have it. So
precisely.
yes.
Well,
Okay.
and let's go ahead and move to our next image, which I think is great fun here. We've got this brain blast. Tell us a little bit about this brain blast.
Okay. So of course, every sign has an element, and Aquarius is the element is air, which is mental energy. And it's also a fixed air sign, so it's focused. So
Mm,
it's like the powers of concentration. And sometimes people will say that Aquarius are airheads. Well, it's not that they're airheads, they're just so deep in thought that they might not hear what you're talking about. The other thing is they're so far ahead in their thinking because they've been thinking about stuff for a long time in a really intense way that they're the most misunderstood of all the signs because they're way ahead of all of us. They've been focused. So I just, the thing is, they can see into the future because that's what they do. They focus on the mental plane and
mm.
can see what's coming. And so, yeah, so that's the fixed air.
I think there was like 6 like head puns that you said in there somewhere, kind
Oh,
of
okay.
baked
Go
in.
ahead. Go
They're
ahead.
ahead of themselves. They can anyway. Um, but that's what we're here to really drive home, to really get
Just
ahead of
stop me
ourselves.
anytime, Jake, if you
I
need to like
No,
interrupt us.
this is what the people showed up for. Um, and from what I understand, does this have anything to do with a dear friend of ours who we'll mention by name later, who was born in the week of the genius?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
does that have to do with
Okay.
kind of this space?
Every okay, so each sign can be broken up into 3 10-day periods called decans, and the first week of Aquarius is from is January 20th until January 30th, and that is called the week of the genius. And that's who we're going to talk about in this segment. Our celebrity chart is somebody born this week, and also our fabulous producer who's making this all possible.
Yes.
Yes.
We've got a lot to cover with our dear producer. Speaking of which, we're gonna go ahead and jump into some symbology, the symbol of the sign. That every sign comes with a symbol, and we decided that actually the poster that was made by our dear Allie, who is part of our sweet extended family, full family of this show. We decided that her poster art that was made for the show is actually just the best to use, honestly. So, Mom, why don't you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, and what's interesting is that I love that we're using original artwork because original thought is like a big theme. Like they're the sign of big ideas. And so if you want to just kind of scrutinize in this a little bit, Aquarius is referred to as the water bearer. So it gets so confused because it starts with the word aqua. So people think it's a water sign. And then it's literally called the water bearer. So everybody thinks that Aquarians are water signs, but they're not. What it's about is really, you see our green leg and arm, you see our little alien person, it's really about the person. It's the humanitarian who's bringing the vessel, which is really an empty vessel, an empty, bowl, whatever you want to call it, pot,
Yeah,
bowl, whatever.
it contains the water. It holds the
Contains,
water.
yes,
Yeah.
it has capacity. That's
Mhm.
the thing. And the knowledge is the water that comes out. So their job is to bring knowledge to people.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. They spread that knowledge around. And they again sometimes get in trouble for being called know-it-alls because they want to tell everyone about it. And your mother, me, is very much guilty of this. My moon is an Aquarius and my Mercury is an Aquarius, and I have been a librarian for 30 years. My favorite thing is just, I was like a kid in a candy store. I got to read all day, look up information. When I became a librarian, the internet was just beginning. Now the internet's having its Saturn return. I've watched it grow throughout my whole career. Now it revolutionized, which is another Aquarian term, information. And it revolutionized things have been the same for millennium. And then in the last 30 years, things have just changed and exploded. So anyway, it's super cool. So anyway, the other interesting thing about this artwork is in the background, Allie picked right up on the motion of Uranus with that spiral in the back behind the water there. Um, and that also leads us to our next thing. Jake, would you like to explain that?
Well, why don't we just go ahead and explain that every show that we do, we will have a themed beverage that is ready to go for every show. And if you didn't notice from any of the barrage of advertising we've done in the last week, we've promoted a drink that is known as hypnotic. This is something that our dear Rick chose. He felt it was just right for Aquarius. And as you'll notice, there's this big symbol. You'll notice that that is also used in the poster in the background because Allie's a graphic design genius. And I spent $20 on this, it's true. I will say this is my first time drinking this delicious beverage. And it is as blue as Siberian Husky's eyes, and it tastes a little strange. It kind of tastes like blue Kool-Aid. It does contain cognac. It's a real party drink. It's a drink that I've only ever heard of in hip hop songs. Wink, wink.
Uh-huh.
So, folks,
Well, and just the name, the way it's spelled with a Q, and I fully hope that this hypnotizes me. I hope it lives up to its name. So yeah, so shout out to our birthday boy who picked this. Yes, I
yes,
thought it was
thank you
spot
to
on.
our
So on many
executive
levels,
producer Rick.
yes, it fit the theme, many many levels. So
So if you're feeling that hypnotic, whether you have it in your physical person or not, go ahead and throw the spiral emoji because there is an emoji that looks just like it. Go ahead and throw that in the chat. We'll give you some time to go find it. Someone will throw it in the chat. You can just copy and paste that. Don't worry, we'll get you there. But if you want to, you are dropping pancakes, drop the spirals, jump in there. Thank you, Travel Agent Rick, for doing that. Just to peek over at the chat here, looks like we're popping off. So much so that I don't even actually know what's going on. So that's a great vibe that I can't even follow this very quickly. Thank you all for being here. Give Pizza Peas a chance. 1111. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so throw in those
Jake,
I
you
love
know
the
who Give
pancake
Peace a
emoji.
Chance is. Let
And
me
who's that?
interpret that for you. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that's your who is an Aquarius, who we will be mentioning here in a moment.
Well, wonderful. Okay, thanks fam. Thanks for
Uh-huh.
being here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
3D Time Machine, thank you for being here. So on and so forth. Okay, so one thing that we're clearly noting that we love about Aquarius, a lot of people I know, certainly a lot of people my mom knows, is it's our loved ones. You might say they are our friends, these Aquarians.
So the reason we're bringing this up is that Aquarius rules the 11th house. Capricorn ruled the 10th. Aquarius rules the 11th house of groups and friendships and humanitarian causes and global consciousness. And the cool thing is, it's kind of interesting, is that when are your friends the most important to you? When you're a kid, like when you're a teenager, right? That's when you first learn your freedom and your independence from your parents, right? You want to go out with your friends. Well, that's another Aquarian theme is independence of thought and of mind. You're learning to think your own way, go your own way. And so what's interesting is that it actually represents the age group of 70 and beyond, because after
Hmm.
you've had your family and after your kids have grown up and gone away and you're a grandparent and all these other things, who do you end up hanging out with again? You finally have time to hang out with your friends. So in library world, we would joke because the people we'd see at the library were the teenagers and the seenagers because they had time to hang out and they'd come see each other and visit at the library and all this other stuff. And I know my parents, your loving grandparents, you know, love their community. It's all
Hmm.
about what it's about giving back to your community at that same time, that time of your life. It's also about philanthropy. Some of the most famous, I mean, there are philanthropists in every sign, but some of the big ones, famous ones that we know of, have made major contributions. And we'll talk about those, down the line. So, yes,
Absolutely.
so we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the importance of friendship when it comes to Aquarius. Aquarius. So, yeah,
So yeah, shout
okay,
out to our teens, our what'd you
yes,
call them? What?
teenagers,
See,
like senior citizens, teenagers.
not senile danger.
Yes, no, no,
Yes,
no,
don't do
no,
that.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Well, and that feels like very full circle. That feels kind of like, the you're bringing the full thing together, the spiral, the ever never-ending spiral of life, I guess is the way you could describe that.
Yeah.
Um, well, speaking of spirals, thank you, 3D Time Machine, for traveling with us. Really appreciate that. Just really quick, I'll take this break before we move into this, but don't worry, we'll get back to spirals. You're watching Club Stars Align. I am Jake. This is my mom, Denise. She's our resident astrologer. I'm your co-host. Uh, we are artists in residency as the pilot project for the travel agency. We are here doing this up. And if you like this, give this channel a follow, a like, a subscribe, some bits. Twitch people, y'all know what that is. People that are new to Twitch, you'll figure that out. I'm been on Twitch a long time, still don't officially know what a bit is, but we're getting there. Means a lot if you have an account. Go ahead and hit some of those buttons. And again, if you guys would like to get a $60 30-minute romance chart done by my mom for you in your life, go ahead and put exclamation point ticket to be entered into our little raffle that we'll be giving away at the very end. You can see we've got the links there in the chat. So as I said, spiraling. You know, what might we be talking about in terms of spirals these days? Might you say a little something like this?
Oh, Jake, are we not going to toast our birthday people?
Oh,
Oh
well,
shoot. Are we going to do that at the end?
all of my steam's gone. Damn it.
Dang
Okay,
it.
we're gonna go back to our friends. Okay, here we go. We're
Okay,
toasting. We'll
let's go back to
spiral
friends
later.
real quick. Real quick. Oh, what,
Okay.
but you know what? You just teased him, Jake. Here we go.
Oh,
Yeah, really.
whew,
Cheers, Jake.
okay.
Here's to our friends. Okay, so hang on. I'm going to do one last thing. So
Yeah.
before we do our actual toast, I just wanted to say I need to squeeze in our not so fun fact, right? So we've had all these fun facts about,
Oh yes.
yes, about, you know, all the Aquarians we know and love. And we're going to get in a deep dive later and talk about more and more of their attributes and stuff. But I did want to mention this because of the inauguration on January 20th. I would be remiss not to mention the correlation between Aquarians and presidents. Up until now, the most presidents we had, there were more Aquarian presidents and Scorpion presidents than anybody else, which is interesting because they're both fixed signs. But as of January 20th, 2021, the Scorpios beat them out, and now we have had 6 Aquarian presidents. So, I mean, 6 Scorpion presidents. So
Gotcha.
the other not so fun fact about our Aquarian presidents, one of them is uh, President Lincoln, right? Right? Is Lincoln in the chat? Where is he at?
Oh, we have a friend that gets in the chat quite often, and his name is
Yes.
President Linkhold.
Yes,
He is not
exactly.
appear to be in the chat yet, but I imagine he's on his way. Thank you, T Green Girl, for the spiral lollipops. Those spirals will do just fine.
Yeah,
I love
those are
those quite a bit.
perfect.
Actually, we'll
Those
keep.
are perfect.
Uh,
But the not so fun fact about these Aquarian presidents is that 4 of the 5 of them died in office. We know about, Abraham Lincoln, unfortunately. FDR was one of our Aquarian presidents, and he, yes, he was failing health and he died. The other was Lincoln and McKinley. But the 5th president who didn't die, luckily, but he had an assassination attempt as well, was Ronald Reagan.
hmm,
So bringing that up to the 80s there. And what's interesting about that is after that happened, his wife, Nancy Reagan, hired an astrologer
really?
because no way was she going to make a move without that. Her name was Joan Quigley, and she visited the White House many times because remember this is before the internet. So she like met with them in person and she helped set the schedule. And everybody thinks, oh, that's wacky and crazy, but no, that's what astrologers have been doing for ages. They were always in the courts of the kings and queens, and a lot of times if they didn't like what you had to say, it was off with your head. So it was kind of a tricky matter to be an astrologer back in the day. So, anywho, I just could not get through this episode without talking about the presidential connection
Interesting.
to Aquarius. So, and
And is
again,
that
it makes sense. The vision, the long-term planning, the ability to think differently and to move the country forward because it's very forward thinking. And also, I would be remiss not to say is that the chart of the United States has its moon in Aquarius. So, the goal, whether we've lived up to it or not, is for it to be in its heart to be for the people and by the people. So humanitarian is the goal of the, supposedly.
gotcha? Well, and has there been an astrologer? Oh, thank you, Miss Gabby, for joining our crew there. What? So has there been an astrologer in the White House since that time at all?
I don't think so. So
Interesting.
hey, we'll see. We'll see what
We'll
happens.
see. Maybe President Biden will bring in an
Well, you
astrologer.
never know.
Mom,
I'm
give
sure
you a
there's people
job.
who work in the White House who use it. So who knows?
Yeah,
Yes,
you'll be the mom. You can offer your services to be astrology czar to President Biden.
exactly.
Okay.
Office of,
Um.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we
So,
do the thing now?
well, can we do the we have to do our birthday people, right?
Oh my
We have to
god.
toast to our birthday person. This is why we
I
brought this
just want to
up.
get to it. I'm sorry, guys. We're
Oh, I know. We
I'm
have so
hyped
much to talk
on
about.
this. We're still making this happen. This is real with us. So thank you for being here.
All
Okay,
right.
let's toast some mofos. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let's toast the person who's making this happen. And I wish you
The
could see his face.
mostest.
The wizard behind the curtain, behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Information Superhighway. To
Yes.
Rick,
To
our
Rick.
boy Rick,
Mhm.
our King Rick, our executive producer to our hearts and minds since he is born in the week of the genius.
Yes. The founder of
Um,
the travel agency. And may I just say, he also wants to set this up as a nonprofit because his whole goal with the travel agency is to give artists a platform. He's giving us this amazing
hey,
opportunity.
there he is.
Yes, there he is. Hey, Rick. And
Everyone
the
say hi to
11th house,
Rick.
and let me just tell you, people, the 11th house is about hopes and dreams. He's literally making our dreams come true right now. He's
He
making my
is.
dreams come true. Cheers
No,
to
our
you,
dreams are
Rick.
definitely true. It's this literally cannot stress enough how
Yeah.
literally not possible the show would be without Rick. So
He
he
figures out
is,
all the technology. That's a very Aquarian thing. He has the mind to just stick at it. Anytime there, he can just yes. His
yeah.
powers, his superpowers are making this happen. So
And we may have thoroughly embarrassed him enough at this point, but he can put this whole clip on his CV at this point, so that'll be good.
right.
Yeah. Hey everyone, say some love to Rick in the chat if you got it. Some king emojis, love that. T Green Girl, y'all can spam some king emojis for our
Okay.
King Rick.
Well, then,
Who else
Jake,
we
I have a toast to a person that's very important to both of us.
got?
Is
Okay,
my brother John, who is an
Uncle
Aquarius.
John.
His
Yes.
birthday's February 11th.
Cheers, Uncle
This is the big
John.
one for
Excellent.
him. And what I love about him, many things. My brother has never met a stranger. He is the friendliest person. Our whole childhood, we'd go anywhere, he'd get to know everybody. He has a huge core group of friends who he loves. He's been so loyal to and faithful all these years. And fun fact, he was our student council president. So look at that leadership ability.
Those leaders, Aquarians, are
Yes.
out there.
And furthermore, at the young age of whatever, when he was a teenager, he had the forethought to create, as a student council project, a money making event that was a big car show that we could hold at our parking lot at our school. Now, remember, this is before the
Oh,
internet, people. He had to do all this hard work by himself by networking, which is also an 11th house thing. And he set that up, and it continued after he left our school for about a decade, I think, and made money for the school even after he was gone. So that's that
incredible.
long term, like setting things up that will last, you
Mhm.
know. So anyway, shout out to my sweet brother.
To Uncle
Thanks for always
John.
being so supportive, and to me and your nephews and your whole family and everyone and all your friends who know and love you. So happy
Yes.
birthday and cheers to you.
Happy birthday. And Mom, I'm just really quick. I'm curious. So Uncle John and our dear Rick, both car guys, major gearheads. Is there
Yeah.
something Aquarian about cars?
Maybe the
Don't he?
mechanical part, you know what I mean? Because it's cool. It's a work of art that does something. It's technology. I think is what it's the mind behind it that creates these new inventions. It's all
Mhm.
so many inventors are Aquarians. So it's
Interesting.
very cool.
The gearheads in the chat. Throw some gears in the chat. I'll stop with the emoji bits and stuff, but it's fun.
Okay.
Um. Okay. Uh. Is it?
Are you ready, Jake?
Can't
Okay.
wait.
Let's Jake set this up. Tell them
Okay.
what's going on, why we're so like rattled. Okay, let's go.
Well, folks, there's a lot going on in the financial world. If you didn't know that, if you've lived under a rock, I mean, if you're not out yet, I mean, go back. You've already missed it.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on, and you might say we're really at the intersection of Wall Street and GameStop. You know that the game really is stopping in a lot of ways, but it's also just getting going. So,
Mhm.
um, the fun thing about astrology too is that it's not just the astrology of people or birthdays or any of these things. There can be the astrology of places. There can be the astrology of things. There can be the astrology of like moments in time. And that's all correct, Mom. I see you nodding. So we felt like we'd be remiss to not take this opportunity, especially a month previous. Our show followed was on January 7th. So if we all
Right.
recall what happened on January 6th, we're right after that.
Mhm.
So according to this, everything is going to go crazy the day before our next show. So shout out to February 24th. The world will shift in some way, and then we'll have a show on the 25th. So go ahead and maybe start
Yes.
planning your bets on that. We'll figure that out. Think about your Dogecoin. Um, and I'll see on Twitter later, Jake mentioned Dogecoin. It's as big of a deal as Elon. So definitely
Yeah.
go buy some Dogecoin. Anyway, it just feels like a moment we needed to talk about. And there's the astrology of this moment.
Right.
So we'll go ahead and get into the chart of this moment.
Yeah. So charts, days have charts, you guys. Somebody could be born with this chart today. So it's crazy. Jake, is it possible to make that bigger for me to see? Oh,
Yes,
oh,
I
I
will
can watch it
zoom
in the
in.
stream. Never mind. I
Or
can
I
do it.
can zoom in here if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, got it. Okay. Um, okay, so just harkening back to, January 7th, which was the day after the 6th when, the rioters stormed the Capitol. The energy, and all of us can reflect back. It was so heavy. We spent the whole day glued to our, TV set in our social media and all this other stuff. And it was interesting because literally yesterday and today, we've just been glued to the financial markets. Whereas that felt so heavy, this feels to me electric and exciting, like big changes are coming. Like this is hitting people where it hurts. I mean, the money, right? Show me the money. That's where everybody is vulnerable. So, what I wanted to do is just kind of zoom in on the chart. So, Jake, if you can move to where it says the eighth house, it's got the sun in it
Yes.
right there. Yeah. Okay. So, if you can zoom, okay.
Uh,
So
there.
let's talk about what the eighth house is. The eighth house is where everything okay, it's birth, death, taxes, finances, inheritances, debt, all kinds of things like that, right? So the
Mm.
sun right now and is in Aquarius is in the eighth house. Okay. There right next to it is Saturn. You can see the thing right there. And Saturn is in Aquarius. And then Jupiter is on the other side of it, right? So Saturn and Jupiter shifted on December 21st. That's when everybody could see it in the sky. They were conjunct, right? So they moved out of Capricorn and they got super close and they moved into Aquarius. So what it meant is that we went from those two big mega planets being in Capricorn, being kind of locked down like we all have been. So they've been locked down for like 3 years. They shifted. So we could feel that shift, right? We're still feeling this shift of it into Aquarius, which is that wacky, sudden Uranus energy, right? So we had the Capitol riots, we've got this. And the thing about Aquarius is it's very humanitarian and it's an air sign and it's a and it represents protest and rebellion. So we've got this going on, right? Okay. So the subject of this is where we're vulnerable was the second house is our personal finances. The eighth house is other people's money. So the stock market is all about other people's money. People put money in this big thing, people's retirement accounts, all these things, right? So you can see where Jupiter is at 9 degrees, and so is the sun at 9 degrees, and that's called Kazemi. So that you have the energy of Jupiter, which is like huge and expansive, connecting to the sun. So who is it huge and expansive for, right? Okay, so if you scooch on over to the other side, if you can scooch down into the bottom left, okay, there you go.
Which house?
Right down there, it is the second house, right? And the moon
Okay.
is in Leo, right? Okay, so Leo is subjective. Aquarius is objective. All those other planets were in Aquarius, which represents groups, right? The stock market and all those other groups. All these people are feeling moon and Leo, the emotion of their personal finances being impacted, right? In
Mm.
Leo, which is a fire sign, which is very subjective. So you can see all those red lines. I don't know if you want to zoom out a little bit. All those red lines is challenging energy. There's one little blue line. So the energy of today is so challenging. Like all of that, everything is crazy, right?
Mm.
But what challenges are is growth. This is us breaking through and making progress. Nothing ever happens if things just stay the same, if just things are easy. This is us busting through to the other side. So you can see there's a big red triangle, right, Jake? So
Mhm.
go up to the peak of that triangle in the 10th, in the 11th house right there. Okay.
Okay.
So this is I sometimes astrology is so amazing. Okay. You can see
Sometimes.
that that's the house of Taurus, right? And you know what they refer to, in the stock market, they call it the bull
Oh.
market. You get where we're
Yeah,
at? Taurus the bull.
I knew where that was going. Okay.
Taurus it rules the second house of our personal and financial resources, right? It's the money we make ourselves. It's ruled by Venus, which is money and things we value, right? Okay. So
Mhm.
Mars is in Taurus. So let me just tell you this. Last time we had stars align, Mars was in Aries at the last degree on January 6th. It was in warrior mode and it flipped in the middle of the riot to Mars and Taurus and it went into stubborn dig your heels in mode. Look at
Mm.
all the Republicans, all those people that aren't changing their mind no matter what. Everybody's digging in their heels. And so what we're seeing with all the gamers, they're not going to be forced to sell. They're holding their ground. They're not going to be pushed around
Hold the line.
anymore.
Hold the line. Mhm.
What'd you say? What'd
I'm
you say,
saying
Jake?
hold the line, everyone.
Yeah, hold the line. Jake, speak up. I'm serious.
Oh, no,
You
I'm just trying to whisper just so we don't get shut down by Discord,
Oh,
but,
okay.
you know.
Okay. So what's crazy about this too is can you see okay, you see Mars is the circle with the arrow. Next to it is the planet Uranus. You know our favorite planet, right? The one that goes like this. Anytime you see that, they call it the Great Awakener, or just for shorthand, it's the shit disturber planet. Something crazy is going to happen. And Uranus has been in Taurus for 3.5 or something years, and it's going to be there for another 3. Uranus in Taurus is new forms of money because Venus is money, right? Venus and Taurus is money, right? So it's technological forms of money. So you've got all this energy together, connected to the eighth house of other people's money, connected to your personal finances, connected up to the 11th house, which is groups, right? So, and the internet, and information and all those things are just
Wow.
circling around. There's just times when astrology just blows my mind and I'm like, this is incredible. It's just, anyway, go ahead. I have other things to say, but I just wanted to pause for a second and let you
Yeah.
just fill in what you're seeing.
No, that's perfect. Well, I'll just say briefly in the chat, thank you guys for blowing this up. Appreciate that you're looking for the breakdown, Boogie Nights. Thank you for being here. It appears that some people are kind of getting crunk off that hypnotic. I haven't really felt it yet. But maybe it's a problem of my own that I need to deal with. But yeah, so like, we need to understand that like these hedge funds are being challenged, and it says who is doing it. That give Peas a chance. Thank you, Caitlin Zara, for the 100 bits.
Wow.
Uh,
Jake, you
we
want to go ahead and
see,
answer that about the hedge funds? It's the people, it's the little guy, the gamers, right? You want
yeah.
to talk about that just a little bit about like give everybody the background a bit on
Well, I'm no journalist. I'll say that, but I'll just say that what appears to be is maybe a bunch of you know butt heads, a bunch of dweebs, a bunch of dorks, but these guys felt the need to kind of get
game the system.
game the system, if you will, in their benefit. And again, you guys can go to New York Times. You have just as much access to it as I do. But there's this moment of that really I don't think we've ever seen before, strictly because we've never had the internet and have it meet at this intersection of the world of finance in this way. And personally, I don't really see how this ends. I don't really see this ending, frankly, anytime soon. So it started with GameStop. It's moved on to other stocks like AMC, Naked Beauty Products, a bunch of others. You'll see them. People are just investing crazily, so to the point that Robinhood, the app, shut down your ability to buy those things. You can sell them. You cannot buy those stocks any longer, which a lot of people are deeply upset about because it's called a free market, first and foremost, and B, that is, as far as I know, I am no historian. That has never happened before. But I also think there's never been an app like Robinhood truly that's been at this level. And I don't know what the numbers are, but I imagine in the thousands of percents there is that many more people trading in this space now. So again, I'm telling most people who are watching this show something they already know. They're clicked in. They're probably checking. They're not even listening to me. They're checking their stocks. So I just
Well,
think it's really. Sorry, go ahead, man.
yeah, I was just gonna say, is in a word, people are calling it like they're storming people. The little guys stormed the financial capital, which is Wall Street.
Well, yeah.
And what's interesting is Discord is the platform they're meeting on. And much like
Yes.
Twitter shut down the rioters, Discord is shutting them down.
Right.
So that leads us to the next. I called Jake like 3 times today, having a heart attack. So here we go. Up in the 10th house, Jake, can you show up to where the 10th house is? Can you see where it says you see Aries is that little thing that looks like a V? Jake, can you just put
Right
yeah.
here.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't get this on there, but there is an there is a 10th planet. Okay.
Mm,
It's a dwarf planet. It's like Pluto, right? And it's called Eris. Okay. Well, I couldn't put the symbol for Eris. See that thing that looks like a key at 5 degrees? Right next to that should be a symbol for this thing called Eris. Okay. So I'm sorry it's
okay.
not there, but just hang in
Pretend
there
it's
with
there. Yeah.
Okay. The mythology, and this is in the 10th house. Okay. The 10th house is career and structure and all those Capricorn things, financial, da 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 da. You know, um, Eris, the mythology behind Eris is the sister of Ares, of
Mm,
Mars. And, Mars is an Aries, Mars. Okay. So she's a sister of Mars, right? But instead of being like, on the battlefield, she's called the goddess of discord. And I shit you not, that is what she's called. It's the 10th planet. It was discovered in 2005. So people have been talking about her for like 15 years, right? Okay. Eris has been in Aries. Okay, it will be in Aries the longest of all, because everything cycles through. So Eris, the planet of discord, is in the warrior sign. Okay,
mm,
so everybody's got this in their chart somewhere, you guys. Everybody's got a place where there's discord in your life, right? Well, it just so happens in this chart today, it's in the 10th house of of structures, of these financial structures, right? And it's impacting everyone, just like our government, right? Okay,
right.
Okay, she has in the mythology, she has a daughter, whatever. Her name is Dysnomia, and she's the daughter of lawlessness. So what have we
Oh.
been talking about? Is all this like, where are the laws? Who did the laws apply to? How come
Mhm.
there's laws for some people, but not the same? Those laws don't apply to other people. Like all of this has to do with finances, racial stuff, election, all of it. These rules. Where how do the rule? Everything's going crazy, right? The rules are not
Where
applying
there's
anymore.
imbalance, where there's like
Right.
there is no laws benefiting everyone, that it
Right.
is only benefiting the few.
Right. And just for example, Bitcoin is a Capricorn company. It was born January 3rd. So just letting you know, like going back to these cryptocurrencies, there's just so many things. Okay. But what I really want to get at, you guys, and this is where you just like want to fall over. And also, I'm not the only one. Okay. I listen to a million astrologers. So I do want to do a shout out to Marin Altman, who's on TikTok. And she's done some great little quick videos you can watch. She did an excellent interview today, jumped on it with a guy who calls himself Cryptodamus, like Nostradamus, who's been studying financial astrology. And also the old school guy who just wrote books, but he's still around. His name is Ray Merriman. So we'll put all these things in the chat. So if you guys want to learn financial astrology, I mean, it's huge. But to finish out this theme with Eris, right? So this goddess of discord, right? Okay. How crazy is it that right now, Jake, we're on Discord,
Yeah, I know. I was gonna
right?
say, well, just briefly, everyone, the way we're showing this show to you is we're actually using a program called Discord. We're able to kind of do this video chat and kind of have this conversation like this, and which is then often used in spaces like Twitch, which is what you're watching today. And there is a group on here, which is the R Wall Street Bets. The R having to do with like the Reddit group. They have their own Discord channel or Discord space, and that was actually shut down at one point because of supposedly inappropriate language or racial epithets being used, which is true. That is factually what was being true. But I also think that anytime someone can remain anonymous in a room full of 1,000 plus people, they're likely to say probably the worst thing they can think. So I
So
get the idea. It's important, but still not not endorsing it by any means. But like people aren't able to communicate with one another, and there was a big up I wouldn't say uprising, but a big heck storm about it. And there's since been another one made. So this this perpetual need to communicate is really happening, and that's happening on Discord. So
So I have
really,
to tell you this crazy irony, Jake, right?
mhm.
Is that 5 years ago when Discord got started, their favorite, the biggest users of their app was were the alt-right groups.
Oh wow.
Okay. And
Well,
they used it to organize the Charlottesville protest, which
oh
just,
wow.
we know how all that went.
Hmm.
So so they shut out the white supremacists. And after they did that, they ended up getting more sponsors and they ended up getting $100 million in investments after they kicked them off. Now, how
Exactly.
crazy is it that today all these investors are getting kicked off of the app? It's
Yeah.
incredible. Like it's just so okay. I just want to say one last thing about Discord, and then we're gonna go back to Eris. Is there's actually a parody religion called Discordianism. So, right? And they worship chaos and anarchy.
Well,
So it's crazy. I mean, there's just so many cool parallels and stories out there,
I
factoids.
and I'll tell you in that Discord for our Wall Street Bets, it is chaos. It is
And Jake,
pandemonium.
aren't you sampling a little something? Do we have
I did do a recording of the voice chat in there where there are over hundreds of people all speaking at once. Again, all saying very bad things, but also doing fart noises and just a whole host of stuff. There's a recording made that I threw up on SoundCloud for those who want to check it out. I can drop that in the links later, but um, it's yeah, it is true pandemonium. So in the Discordian way, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, and I have one last little thing, and I see we're at 9 o'clock, and we need to shift into your DJ set. But I just want to say, is the other crazy factoid is that Eris, right, the
Hmm.
goddess of discord, with this planet, this dwarf planet that we use as a as a
Yeah.
cycle, um, went into Aries in 1926,
Oh,
and
let's think about
we
that year for a second.
okay, so
What
everybody
happened
kind
in?
of put that in some context and started stirring some shit up, and I wonder what happened in the late 20s
Hmm,
and what is it that people are saying now about the 2020s is they're calling it the roaring 20s, right?
yeah.
Right? So, so just to spell it out for people, the stock market crashed. And why did it crash? It wasn't a mechanical thing. It's the people talking. So that's what's happening now. It's people talking and communicating is what's crashing this market, which is awesome. It's for Robinhood for the small people, right? Um, but there's a thing called narrative economy, and they're saying, we're living this right now. Everybody's getting misinformation, right? And so it
Mhm.
was fear that crashed the market in 1929. People pulled their money out. So, it was called a run on the banks, and they pulled their money out and it crashed. And then, we know what happened in history after that. So just FYI, you guys, they say history doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme.
I was just
So
gonna use that
keep your
line.
yes, so keep your eyeballs open, and also just FYI, Eris is not leaving Aries until 2048.
Oh my god.
120 something years. 100, yeah. So
That's a
okay.
lot to look forward to.
Yes, yes.
Well, and I'd be remiss to say this, if I didn't say this because, oftentimes people talk about how, astrology is the stock market for woo-woo people. That's a line I heard yesterday.
Okay.
And let's be really honest, the stock market is astrology for business people, which you might say business bros. Because let's be honest, the only people hating on astrology are dudes pretty much across the board. And we'll have to unpack that in another episode or some bonus material or something. But let's just get it straight. And I'll say too, if anyone's kind of skeptical about astrology and its place with investments, why don't you take it from your boy JP and understand that millionaires don't use astrology, but billionaires do.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
He actually had an astrologer because what it is everybody studies financial patterns. Literally studying energy. So these guys don't even know they're studying, cycles, energy cycles, like all the astrologers are. So, anywho, yes. So, good job, Jake. Thanks for being so good and getting us through this. Yeah, this segment.
absolutely. Well, everyone, just want to make sure that you know that again, you're watching Club Stars Align. I am Jake. That is my mom, Denise. Mom, you go ahead and hit that watch stream thing real quick.
Okay.
Um, you are on the Travel Agency, which is a digitally native platform that hosts contemporary art making, produces art centered entertainment, and provides digital residencies with multimedia exhibition opportunities. So show some love. We are very much in love and thankful for our friends at the Travel Agency. So show them some love by following, subscribing, or donating some bits. Again, everyone, we are doing a raffle. We will be giving that away at the very end of the show. So if you are interested in a $60 romance chart, that'll be approximately 30 minutes of your time, go ahead and put an exclamation mark ticket. And that will have you entered in for free. If you want additional ones, you can put them, you can donate some bits, do some all that good fun stuff. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pan it over to just my mom for a moment while I get set up for my DJ set. So I will see you guys in about 10 minutes. But before I just do that, I want to say if you have any questions for my mom, she'll be taking questions in the chat. Feel free to drop some in there. Otherwise, my mom, it never has anything. She
Always
always
have
has
plenty
something
to
to
say.
say. You can just talk and talk and talk. So we got this. So thank you guys for being here. I will see you in about 10 minutes or so and with our first DJ set. Peace.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to swing through the chat here, see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to ask anything if you're curious about the romance charts, anything we had to say about financial astrology. Just, again, shout out to all the astrologers out there who are tracking these things. Um, yeah. So the other thing that I always like to say is that, this generation, meaning you guys, and everybody that's, the millennials get a bad rap, right? But the millennials haven't had the same advantages as the other generations, right? So the key is that you guys have it in your chart and you were born digital, so you have the tools to fix it. So what I want to say to you guys, and I'm going to say it again later when we get to that part of the forecast in the second half of the show, is that get busy imagineering on how you want the world to be. You know, use your Aquarian ideas. Everybody right now has all this Aquarius energy. Start looking ahead. Start thinking about what will work for everyone, in the group. yes, we're all individuals and we need to have our freedom and all those things, but we have to think about what works for everybody so we can maintain our individuality and our freedom. So it's just been exciting to watch this all, and it's almost overwhelming. And so, yeah, it's just a super cool, exciting time. So yeah. Um, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat right now. I know. Sorry, that was like a big download of information. I just couldn't believe it. Like I just today spent the whole day, and the more I would read, I just deep dove, and just so many themes and so many things corresponded with what was happening right now. So, um, yeah, yeah. What? Okay, little Miss Gabby says, "What do you think is going to happen on February 24th?" Um, I'm not sure. I am really focused on February 11th because there's a huge pileup, and we're going to talk about this in the second half of uh, of of planets that are going to be lined up all in the same place. And so I haven't looked that far ahead to the 24th. Um, so sorry, I have the answer for that one. Travel agent Rick says, I'm an Aquarius sun and moon, right? Yes, Cancer rising, but Aquarius sun and moon. So we're definitely going to get to that part in the second half where we talk about what it means to have Aquarius rising, to have Aquarius sun, moon, and we'll go through all of those. So yeah. Yeah, little Miss Gabby, let me know what you were talking about for the 24th. So it's a busy time. I'm thinking a lot of people. A lot of people are probably watching AOC, a lot of our Twitch friends. So the day before our next stream. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah. Well, there's a really funny meme in the astrology where they're showing 4 Wednesdays in January, and they have the astrology. I don't have it in my head, but of like what happened each day. And so but yeah, the Aquarius vibe is going to continue for a while. That is for sure. So oh yeah. Oh, Jake. Okay, Jake said, yeah, he was just joking. He was being facetious that, what big thing's going to happen before our next stars align. The Pisces edition. So, I have Zero's Aquarius. Okay, thank you, Saint FVRM. I have Zero Aquarius bones in me. Even if you don't have Aquarius in your chart and you're thinking, well, I don't even want to listen to this, everybody has a house that is ruled by Aquarius. So definitely you have Aquarius energy. You just don't have anything particularly in an Aquarius sign. So, like, even though, I don't have anything in Leo, I have a section of my chart that has Leo in it. So, yeah. You are not dumb, little Miss Gabby. No worries, no worries. I'm sure there's something amazing happening that day. I just haven't looked that far ahead. We just got so carried away today about like this, what's really happening and how it's going to play out. So, oh, the hypnotic. Yes. Little Miss Gabby says it's just the hypnotic getting me all swirled up. That is for sure. So, T Green Girl says, wait, can you explain the houses? Yeah. So the houses, the zodiac is just a pie in the sky with 12 different slices in it. And so it's not connected to the constellations, even though a lot of them have constellation names. Um, but so they divide each one up, and they're given an astrology sign, and they have energy that go with each one, and each of them has a theme. So like today when we talked about the 11th house, it rules a period of time in your life. It rules several areas of subject matter, and has particular energy. And so everybody's got that, and you circle through all those houses throughout your lifetime, and your planets move in accordance with where they started when you were born. And so that's your cosmic blueprint. So yes, give peace a chance. The moon is full. Today is the day, and we are going to totally talk about it when we get into the second half when we do the actual forecast of like what's happening right now. The moon is actually full in Leo. We're Aquarius now, but it's in opposition of the sun. That's why it's so full and we can see it. And so those are the themes of objectivity and subjectivity. Aquarius sun is objectivity, and then the sun is subjectivity. So, Boogie Nights, what is your initial thoughts about Shakira being an Aquarius? I mean, hey, the thing is, and we're going to talk about this with the Aquarius risings, they love to shock. So it's super fun. There's Aquarians of all types. That's for sure. So, and I think I see Jake coming in. So, hey, I'm going to sign off for now, but I'll see you guys after Jake's DJ set. Thanks for chiming into the chat. Okay, cool. All right, you guys, I think we're back. So, how funny is it that I was literally talking about Mercury in retrograde and it happened, you guys? So, the funny thing is, Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius is going to be about technology. And we literally just, experience that right now. So, yeah, just take good care of all your technology. Don't worry if you get frustrated. Lots of things are going to be haywire. It's a lot of really powerful energy coming up. So, and I think I see Jake coming. Are we ready? I think Jake's going to log on here in a second and we'll launch into the next little part. Definitely very excited about giving away this romance reading, though. Definitely jump in the chat. I love talking about this part. It's really one of the main reasons why I got into astrology is everybody cares about that part of their chart. So, um, and I think, oh, nope, Jake's not ready yet. So I will say one thing real quick about how fun it is that Valentine's Day happens to fall in Aquarius, and people would think, well, it's an air sign. Why is Valentine's Day during an air sign? Well, if you want to go back in time, actually Valentine's Day really fell on a pagan holiday, and it was really about the fact that birds and the air spread seeds, right? And that's what spread all the seeds, and then that's what started. It was a fertility ritual. Okay. And so the funny thing is, people say love is in the air. And it actually has to do on a spiritual level with your heart chakra because your heart is actually represented by air. You would think it might be more like passion and all these other things and fire, but no, it's air because it's electromagnetic and your heart puts out 5,000 times more electromagnetic energy than your brain. I'm full of factoids here. So anyway, just wanted you to know that, that heart energy, like when you speak from the heart, that's what connects you with people around you. And also going back to Valentine's Day being during Aquarius, which is a time of friendship, the highest form of love is friendship. It's called philia, and or philia is what they would say. And your friends, are the people you choose to love. They're fun, you know what I mean? And they're always there for you. And it's a great thing. So, and yeah. So just wanted to say that like if you think of Galentine's Day, that's like a perfect thing for Valentine's Day because you're loving your friends and all the people around you. So anyway, very excited to be giving away a romance reading. And feel free to, buy one for your friends, email me, whatever, we'll work it out. We can do one for your friends or for people that you care about. Always fun to do romance readings. So Jake, I think you're back.
I
Are we
am
back?
indeed. Hello. And
Okay.
I've turned into the Hulk. That hypnotic is just hitting me really good. I actually, I tell you what. Thank you
Awesome.
everyone for being here. What did I miss? I was in the
Oh my
zone. Did I
God.
miss anything? What was in
Yeah,
the chat?
man. Oh, yeah,
Good
we're just
stuff.
talking about Valentine's Day. We just did a quick thing of the forecast, and we are gonna zip. We've got 15 minutes, Jake, before
Oh
Marissa
my
set.
god.
So we
Okay.
spent 7 minutes on we're gonna whip through the deep dive on the planets, and then I'll spend 7 minutes on the celebrity chart, and we will get right back on time. So
All right, let's hop in it. Really quick again, if you guys want to get into that thing, you know what to do. Exclamation point ticket to enter for that reading. All right, here we go. Speed round. Speed run.
all right.
That's what the Twitch kids like, speed run. So what we
Do
got?
Zach.
So let's see what we got here.
Okay, so
There we
this
are.
is the deep dive. So, just because your sun isn't in Aquarius doesn't mean you don't have Aquarian energy in your chart. So, just like we did last month, we're going to talk about, what it means to be Aquarius rising, what it means to be Aquarius sun, moon, all the way down the line. And Jake's going to have the planets to show us, and we'll just go point by
Excellent.
point.
All right, well, wonderful. So, first up, we have rising sign. We'll get that up in a
Right.
second here. So everyone has the basics, right? We have the rising sign, we have your sun sign, the one that everyone knows, and then you have a moon. So those are kind of like the big three, right? I would say. So, and again, I
Yep.
can elaborate, and I know we're on a time crunch here, but um, tell us about the
Yeah,
rising
I'm going to
sign.
keep
So
it
here's your
short.
horizon sign.
Yeah. So your rising sign is the planet. So if you're Aquarius rising, Aquarius was rising when you were born. Okay. So the day was, yeah. So, and you can be any sign and be Aquarius rising, is what I'm trying to say. You don't, it's not just Aquarius. So, some famous, the thing about being Aquarius rising is your rising sign is your persona and how people see you. So, oftentimes people Aquarius rising like to shock. So, for example, we have Yoko Ono, Nicki Minaj, Madonna, people who like, Madonna's a Leo, but she's Aquarius rising. So she's always changing her persona, having fun with it and playing with it. Another interesting person is Ashton Kutcher. He is an Aquarius sun. He's also Aquarius rising. And what I think is funny is that he's famous for doing that show Punked, where he would shock people and scare people,
Right.
right? And he also had a very unconventional marriage. He married Demi Moore, who was like 20 something years older than him. So, unconventional relationship. So,
Although we stand him and Jackie now. And yes, I said Jackie, not Mila Kunis. But
yeah,
anyway,
and she's a Leo. So, they finally found, their counterparts. So, okay,
interesting.
moving on to the Aquarius sun. I'm sorry we're giving short shrift to this, but we got other things to so okay. And you can look this stuff up. So, okay. The sun in Aquarius, when we were talking about, and I'll just start talking, Jake, before the sun comes up,
For sure.
is lots of famous talk. Did it come up?
Yeah, it's up, actually. I see the stream. It's
Oh,
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Um, so for example, Oprah, who was born this week, January 26th, I think, she is a talk show host. That's what she does. And what people like about her, she's almost like the queen of new age. She's like been the queen of talk show when all this stuff was coming around. And she's also a huge philanthropist. She starts those schools, in Africa and all those other kinds of things. And she is also got a ton of money. She's forward thinking. She's, you know, definitely, a feminist, moving people forward. So
She
another
loves
famous athlete,
sorry. Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Jake.
She loves money and she loves bread. So 2 types of money,
Yes.
and there's the meme with her loving bread. You'll have to look it up, Oprah and bread.
Oh, funny.
Y'all
Bread
see
and
it.
bread,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Good one, Jake. Okay, this one you can speak to.
'Kay.
Our friend Michael Jordan, not the
That's right.
actor, the athlete,
That's
is an
Michael B.
Aquarius.
Right. Mhm.
Right, 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 right. And I think we could talk about this. How did Nike know that Michael Jordan was an air sign? How did they know?
I don't know, mom. Why don't you tell?
I don't know. How did they know to
Air
name his shoes Air
Jordan.
Jordan? And what is the name of the song? Sing this. We can all sing the song that
Let's sing it.
Michael Jordan from his movie. I believe I can fly. Come on now.
Yes, although we don't stan R. Kelly. Forget him. Pretend someone else sang it, but
Yes, we don't
yes.
like him, but yeah, exactly. And you guys, any of you guys who watched him play, it's like he would float and hang in the air. You know
Right.
what I mean? And they said his big thing is, like Mike, LeBron James, those guys are amazing too. Physicality, his was his mental stamina. He could see it before he did it. And that's what they
Oh my
always say.
god.
And I also just want to say too about basketball players. Basketball is one of the you have to make the most quick decisions of all the sports. You have to make decisions on the fly. So just that quick thinking kind of thing is one of those,
Absolutely.
So anyway, just in terms of sports, I thought that was like a really good example. Our
Fabulous.
friend Jennifer Aniston,
Our friend
right?
from Friends.
From Friends, there you
Yes.
go. Also, our buddy Abe Lincoln, who
Our buddy. We go way back.
emancipation.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Charles Darwin, evolution. So going back to all these ideas, I love that they all start with E. Edison, like electricity, and light bulbs. And I had a light bulb
Precisely.
here as a but anyway.
Oh.
So
Yeah, we haven't really
anyway,
done
a
the
lot.
prop comedy much today this time. We did
I
on our
know.
last episode, but it's around here somewhere.
I I know. Just a lot of sun sign inventors, a lot of, Aquarius inventors. So, okay,
Excellent.
moving right along to the Aquarius moon.
Wonderful.
Okay. As I mentioned, the United States of America has an Aquarius moon. Your mother, me, has an Aquarius moon. Hence the reason, I'm like totally in astrology. And so does our current president, Joe Biden.
Hmm.
So Joe Biden is vibing with that, we the people vibe.
Vibing with Biden.
The
There we
thing,
go.
vibing with Biden, there you go. The thing about Aquarius moon, because, it's your emotions. Sometimes people think, oh, it's not a fire sign emotion where you're just, all passionate. It's kind of detached. So
Hmm.
it's not that people don't have feelings. They're able people with the moon in air signs are able to rationalize and think their feelings through.
Gotcha.
So that's the moon in Aquarius
Well, I
energy.
have to mention our
Okay.
good friend information underscore superhighway has an Aquarius
Uh-huh.
moon representing. So got to
Right,
shout out
exactly.
our friend
Exactly.
there.
And our friend Brad, who got the reading last time, we were talking, he was saying like how things just don't bug him. You know what I mean? On the surface. Of course, everybody's got feelings, but you know what I
There's
mean?
the dark side of the moon.
Yes,
So
exactly. But it's nice to be able to just rationalize in the moment, like to just not lose your mind right away. So
right.
it's good.
Well, we are
Oh,
past the
Rick. Oh,
7 minutes, Mom. So let's speed run this. Let's do it. All right. What we
okay.
got next?
Okay. Well, Rick got chased by the FBI. Okay. Okay. Moving right along to the Mercury. Mercury in Aquarius is an exaltation. And I have Mercury in Aquarius and exaltation, just want to say. And here's what exaltation means it means that it operates at its highest function, meaning it's nice to have a Mercury which is communication and mental energy, in an air sign, which is mental and communication energy. So, anyway, it's able to flow at its fullest extent. So, anyway, that's Mercury in Aquarius. So,
Fantastic.
okay, moving right along to the Venus in Aquarius. And fortunately, we know somebody who has Venus and Mars in Aquarius, and we're going to let him talk about what it's like to experience that. So take it away, Jake. who
Oh,
has Venus
me.
and Mars.
Oh, you mean me.
Yes,
Oh.
the
So
child I
this
birthed
is
has Venus and Mars in Aquarius. Yes.
so, Mom,
So,
what exactly does that mean, just so everyone knows?
okay, so Venus are the things that you love. Like for example, the arts. Like Jake is an ambient artist. His his
Oh,
his photography is very abstract. All very
thank
Aquarian
you.
things. He also is, like in terms of romance, I know that he is awesome. A lot of times Venus in Aquarius means that they are in love with their best friend. Like
Oh,
they friendship is huge. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean it's
I
not
believe.
romance. It just means that it's huge. You have to be friends too.
Yeah.
How else would you like to express that, Jake? That's how I've seen you, live that
Well,
Venus and Aquarius.
because I know the Mars part will just be a lot of fun. So I'll just go ahead and ruin
Okay.
my anecdote that I thought of while I'm here to make this easy on myself in front of my mother,
I'm
talking
going to
about
drink
how I love.
hypnotic while you talk about Venus and or your Mars and Aquarius.
I think an easy way to show this is I believe that my love languages
Yes.
is quality time and words of affirmation. I
There
don't
you
care about gifts. Acts of service are nice. Like if I come home and you're making dinner, that's awesome. It's not needed, but it's great. But if you just call me pretty like all the time, you don't have to spend a dollar on me at all. So yeah, definitely drop your love language in the chat. Everyone, drop some hearts in the chat, whatever you like. But so yeah, I mean, if you want to spend some quality time with me and call me pretty, that's all I need. That's all I need. You know,
go. Okay.
that's what that feels like, which I think is probably more of the Mars aspect, I would guess maybe. But anyway,
Okay. Well,
okay.
Mars and Aquarius. I'm going to close my ears now
Oh
because
God,
I
what
will
did you
say
say
this.
last
Jake,
time? There was some word I like took
okay.
my
I'm
headphones
not even
off.
going to go there. I will say this. Mars is the action planet. All
Hmm.
kinds of action, right?
Oh
But what I
boy.
want to say is Jake is really good at acting on good ideas. Because ideas, right? Right, right, right. Jake has big ideas and he doesn't sit on them, he works on them. So I just want to say that is like it's the engine of your chart. You are motivated by ideas, you know.
Yes.
It's also unconventional, many things, and I'm gonna go find my light bulb. Go ahead and talk about what it means to have Mars and Aquarius.
Well, I care very deeply for this world, and I guess uh I don't. You guys, like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say here?
Jake,
I
you were
mean,
supposed to do your homework on this. Never mind.
no,
Okay, so I
it's
will
not that I don't know. It's just like,
say
how do
okay,
I
well, we're going to
phrase
keep it
it?
PG-13. He works on Aquarian ideals, meaning humanitarian things, cares very much about social causes, is motivated by those kinds of things.
Uh huh.
Hence the fact that we spent the first half of the show talking about, financial astrology and all this, the social, undercurrents of that and all those things. So,
Yes.
yes, Jake's highly motivated by humanity. So, there you have it.
I,
Okay, we have
oh, the
5 minutes now.
humanity! I tell you
Let's
what.
do this.
Okay, and then well, and then we talked about Mars. So I didn't click Mars, so I'll just go ahead and do that since we got a nice Mars picture here. So there's
That
Mars.
was our mark. Okay,
Um,
so moving right along, we're
Moving
going to
right
zip into,
along, we're definitely gonna be over time. Sorry, Marissa.
okay,
So
we can
in every show, we're also gonna do a celebrity chart. So someone that we love that is whatever sign it is, and we're gonna break them down. Um, this first picture you're gonna see is not the person we're talking about, but it has very much to do with them. And if anybody wants to just lend some guesses in the chat, whatever you want to do. But first, we're gonna start with this photo and just let that sink and sit. You just sit with this photo for a second. And it's
okay.
not this person if you recognize them
Right.
immediately, but
So this dude was a child prodigy. You might have heard of him. His name is Mozart. His birthday was January 25th, okay?
interesting.
And the our celebrity studied classical music, much like the stuff that Mozart makes. Our celebrity named his child after this person.
Hmm.
So, and the interesting thing about Mozart is a lot of times this is again another like common thing that happens with Aquarians is they're self-taught. It's called autodidactic, and they're considered precocious because they're so curious. But they again with that fixed thought, as little kids, they have the powers of concentration. So that dude made more symphonies before the age of 35 than most people do in a whole lifetime. He died at age of 35, but he started when he was a kid, so he had a full 20 something year career. So that's amazing. So oftentimes people call our celebrity chart that we're about to say, they call him the Mozart of rock guitar because he was able, they also say that he was often could channel lightning in a bottle. So going back to this, the lightning bolt thing, that's a
I'll work
Tesla
on my
coil.
timings.
That's okay. He was able to channel. Lots of people say he was channeling, and same thing with Mozart, channeling this amazing energy from somewhere else. So whenever you hear this person play, you'll get that feel. Again, it's all about energy. This electric energy when you hear this person play. So if you haven't had a guess, people in the chat, does anybody know this person also left our mortal coil, left our planet this year? Oh, Jake, are you playing it?
That's right,
Mhm.
folks. We've got the
Right.
king himself, Eddie
Yes.
Van Halen.
Yes, unfortunately, Eddie left us, but he left us an amazing amount of music. And interestingly,
Wait. Sorry, here's the best part. Okay, thank you.
yes, there you go. Exactly. Oh god, now I totally lost it. Oh,
Okay.
eruption, name of it, right? And
Yes.
literally that's the energy. That is the energy. And I was listening to, the whole 13-minute thing in the shower today, and I was like, this sounds like classical music. Like, you know how classical music doesn't have words, right? And it's like the soundtrack to a movie. Well, listening to his stuff, you're just like on a journey. Like, where did we just go? Did we leave the
Absolutely.
planet? Like, what's happening? And so that's what I'm talking about, his ability to channel that stuff. So it's so cool to see somebody who found the thing that they're, really good at and had a release for all that energy. So, okay. And so, oh, yep, another great picture. Let's look at his chart. Oh, there's another good picture.
There we go.
Okay. So if we can, sorry, Jake, if you can zoom me in real quick, and I'm going to make this fast, but there's so much we could talk about. But what we're going to zoom in on one thing. Okay. So Jake, go to the bottom to the fourth house, way down at the bottom of the chart. Can you see right there? Okay. So you see, if you can put your cursor on it, his sun is right there. You see the sun is the round circle with the dot. Okay. His sun is in
Oh,
the third house, right? And that's your siblings. Well, who did he spend his whole career with? Is his brother, Alex Van Halen, right?
true.
So the interesting thing is in Eddie Van Halen's chart, he has all air and fire planets. He doesn't have any earth. So
Oh,
what you
wow.
do is you find people in your life to fill out, the missing elements, right? So his brother Alex is a Taurus, and he married Valerie Bertinelli, who is also a Taurus. So he got grounded, right?
Wow.
Um, so that is in the fourth house, right? But look at the lines of Jake, if you want to go ahead and scroll all the way. So he has Mercury and the moon. So he has Mercury in Aquarius, just like we talked about, and moon in Aquarius, which is what I have, but his are conjunct. So they're feeding each other. He's able to express his emotion, right? Moon emotion,
And
Mercury expression, right? Express his emotions
real
in
quick, where's that
Aquarius.
conjunction? Where's that conjunction?
It's at the bottom in the fourth house where he's got his
Oh, like all this
Mercury
stuff.
and moon.
Okay.
Yeah, his Mercury and
Gotcha.
his moon are on top of each other, right? But we're gonna follow that dotted green line all the way up to the top of his chart, which is yeah. So yeah, go ahead and follow that away. And you see that dotted line? That's called an inconjunct, and that's where the planets don't line up. And when that happens, there's this constant need. It's an itch you can't scratch. So he's always trying to reach this height, right? And at the top of his chart, he has Jupiter, which is expansion, and Uranus, the crazy electrical energy at the top of his chart. So that talk about an amplifier, talk about electrical transformer. He literally has electrical transformer at the top of his chart connected to his moon, his feelings, and his ability to express himself in this crazy energetic thing that's shooting across the top. I could go on and on about this, but I'm hitting 10 o'clock right now.
That's perfect.
Also, anyway, it's just somebody where you can see the Uranian energy very clearly in his lifetime and in his work. You know what I mean? That he's left us. He very much has channeled Aquarian energy. So, okay, we did
So
it. 10 o'clock.
we did it. We actually figured it out. we
I have a whole page of notes. I'm gonna I said enough today. So
That'll have to
okay, I
be
got
in the bonus space. But again, everyone, thank you for being here. You're watching Club Stars Line. I'm Jake, my mom Denise over here, taking it
yeah,
away here. Um,
no problem.
hey everyone.
Hey, we're back.
Some minor
Can you
technical
hear me?
difficulties. Will bear with us just for a moment.
Well,
No.
I have plenty more to say about Eddie if we want to go back to it.
Okay.
Let's go
Or
back. Yeah, we have a little
So
bit more to
the
say.
music's playing,
So
but
okay,
I
I think
can't
last you were saying
hear
just
it
briefly,
right now, and I have my OBS
he's
set
full
up
of electricity.
just
He's
like
got
last.
that fire in him, like fire isn't electricity isn't made of fire, but what else?
right,
What else can we add to the beautiful tapestry of Eddie Van Halen?
what was interesting is, he's born in 1955, so he's Pluto and Leo. So that was definitely like he was born at the rock star time. So that was pretty cool.
And what
Let's
makes that the
see.
rock star time? Just so I know.
Well, Pluto and Leo is the star, right? It's the sun. It gets all
Yeah.
the attention. The
Oh,
sun
all
shine,
the Leos we know.
yeah,
They love to be the
and just
star.
think, I mean, that was the big arrow of rock and roll. There's celebrities, stars, all this stuff. But he was an Aquarius sun that with a Pluto and Leo. So and it was at the very top of his chart. So he had this very powerful energy in his 10th house of career and his legacy he left behind. So that's really what the 10th house is about, is your legacy. It's the work you do. Even if you're, a janitor, if you leave this great work of art, it's the work of art that people will remember. You know what I mean? Or the lives you touched. It's not your job. It's more the thing that you did. That you left behind. So,
Well, it's maybe the way you left people feeling, because I know that when a lot of people were eulogizing him when he passed, they like so many people had only good things to say about him. Like, and
yeah,
very, very not often, you learn that these people that are virtuosic tend to not be, they tend to lack somewhere, and usually that's like in social skills, frankly. Like, I've heard like the idea that he like, sat home at prom to practice guitar, that he was bullied a lot as a kid. Actually, that's something I found out pretty often, specifically because he was Asian, but also because he was ostracized, and this was a symptom of the time. It was the 60s or 70s or whatever. But and let's see,
but
yeah, go
Jake,
ahead, Mom.
put your finger on. There's often this feeling of being an alien or from being an outsider. And he did move from the Netherlands. You know what I mean? And so it shows up in his third house of his childhood or whatever, that it says he had an unusual childhood. He immigrated when he was 7. He was a stranger in a strange land, so he's an observer. You know what I mean? He was
Yeah.
watching what was going on. However, his parents encouraged him to be himself, and he had this outlet. Can you imagine if he didn't? What would he have done with all that energy, you guys? You know what I mean? And he was an individual. He learned to stand on his own because he wasn't part of the crowd. So that's the beauty of the individual uniqueness of the Aquarius energy. They have gifts to give. When you said about fire, Jake, good job. His Mars was in Aries, so at the bottom of his chart in the 5th house of creativity. So Mars in Aries is full blown, blowtorch energy in his house of creativity. So he had fire and air just feeding off of each other. So it was very, very cool.
Well, and I think even despite that, like again, like if he's got all this intensity in him, that he was still somehow to be sweet. Like he was known to be such a social kind, but he was still just he shared so much, I think, with his ability to just shred. Like he influenced a generation after that. That's so much as a legacy is not just so much being a good person, but as much as just like you know taking a generation of people where it's like we thought Jimi Hendrix was going to be the last guy to make the guitar crazy. And then here he comes in the 70s and 80s just blowing it out of the water, and like who ever thought about tapping, like and making that your art, and beyond shtick, beyond like a gimmick. Like there's no end to what his talent is, and that's why I think so many people come to him for those things, that it's just incredible what he's able to
inspiration.
make happen.
Yeah, he had all that energy at the top of his chart to inspire all. How many kids have got electric guitars because of it? And I just, again,
100%.
electric guitar, electric guitar. Come on, it's just so. Yeah. So.
Well, and he played the keyboard too on Jump, and that is an electronic instrument, so it makes sense.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, then just going back to since it is Valentine's season, his Venus is in Sagittarius. So Venus is what you're attracted to, what you love, and in Sagittarius he was attracted to someone from a different culture because his culture isn't American. He married someone that is American and he's not from here, so he had to adapt, you know what I mean, but he was also intrigued, and so anyway, that was just another little kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, so any other, let's see, Hidden North in the chart, we talked about that.
We had Sammy Hagar, we had David Lee Roth, not in that order. Do you happen to know their signs off the top of your head, Mom?
Oh, say that again.
David Lee Roth or
David Lee Roth is a Libra. Of course, I looked. So, I want to tell you, yeah, Eddie Van Halen was Libra rising. So it's funny, like he was in a band with somebody who was a Libra. So he had a lot of air energy going on. I did want to say this when you said about him being so nice. It says the Moon and Mercury conjunction oftentimes gives someone who's usually soft-spoken and a smiling face, jocular and liked by the ladies, loved by his family, and he worked with his brother.
Wow.
Because it was in the 4th house of home. He was with his homies. He worked with his brother all those years. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And then his son Wolfgang, who was a Pisces, he took him under his wing and taught him. I mean, think of that. What a good dad. Like, he was in his band with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which was pretty cool. So,
Well, yeah.
um,
I just think the legacy he's able to leave across so many genres too. Like it wasn't just rock dudes, like it was people that just could bear witness to this insane skill that anyone could appreciate across all genres of music. But also his
did
signature
you want to talk
guitar,
about?
it's really
Yeah,
cool.
the signature.
I love it. The red with the red and white stripes. Go ahead and check that out if you guys
Yeah,
want to.
and he has signature sound too. I was gonna say, Jake, did you want to talk about the Aquarius nature of the rappers you played? Anybody,
That's a
any
very good point.
like
Um,
Aquemini or whatever?
Aquemini, the
Aquemini?
Outcast album. Yeah, let's see, who do I feel like an Aquarius vibe? I think, okay, for instance, Meg the Stallion. I played 2 tracks of hers. She, I mean, she shreds. The fire, ironically, even though she's an air sign, that like she brings with it is intense, but it's not like she can rap super fast, like Eddie Van Halen plays really fast, but you do go on a journey. Like her rap bars, her lyrics are very like storytelling, and they're so clever. It's so clever that it's like crazy. It's hard to like process what you're hearing because you're like, oh my god, it's like it's too much. Much like Eddie Van Halen's guitar work. So, but much like him, everyone loves Meg the Stallion. No one,
Okay.
there's not a person on this planet that doesn't like Meg the Stallion. Like her internet presence, her as a person is just really cool. She's so real, very earnest, very like just I don't know anyone who doesn't like her. So it makes a lot of sense to me
Friendly,
that they
able
would
to
share.
connect with a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, part of it is, and I hate to say this, and don't, is a detachment from ego because let's just put it this way: the sun sign, Leo is about being subjective and focus on me. A lot of times, the Aquarius person really is, wants to support the group and doesn't really want the spotlight on them, but.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is just happy to be with the group and happy to do these things with them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're stars for sure, but it's more about this connecting, being able to connect with people. So
Absolutely.
I think.
Well, it was interesting to me that Cameron and Jules Santana were both Aquarius, and my ability to just collect so many songs that they have together, not just as like a rap group, but they were on multiple of each other's tracks and were really big around the same time in like the early 2000s.
Collaborating, yeah, for sure. Wanting to collaborate, yeah, in a group. One of the questions in the chat was about Shakira. What do you think about Shakira? I don't know what to say about Shakira being an
Well,
Aquarius. What are your thoughts?
mean, from what I understand, again, like I don't know anyone who doesn't like Shakira. I think she brought kind of like, I mean, I've never seen hips not lie like that before. She's the Eddie Van Halen of hip dancing for sure. And I mean, she's like her voice knows like no bounds. There's such a wide range that she's able to do. And
Yeah.
from what I understand, I don't know why this is coming to me. I think this is true that like she has done a lot of and what's the word I'm looking philanthropy. That's the word I'm looking for. She's done a lot of good stuff for good people. Just especially as an international artist, as big as she is, I think she's really had this amazing ability to kind of bring a cross-cultural kind of moment to the rest of the world. So yeah, I mean, nothing. Is there an Aquarius we don't like? I can't think of one, to be honest.
Okay.
Well,
So
maybe
let me
Ronald
tell you- okay,
Reagan.
so-
He can die. He can burn. Sorry, getting a little political.
He was an actor and
I'm
he's very
hearing
popular.
things in my
I want to say real quick, this is old, but Carole King wrote a lot of songs for James Taylor, and he's Pisces, right? Well, she wrote that song, "You've Got a Friend," and Jake, are you familiar with that song, "You've Got a Friend"? I don't know if
I'm
you know this, but
thinking
it cracked
of
me up. That she's
Toy Story, You've Got a Friend in Me, and then I'm thinking of Golden Girls, Thank You for Being a Friend. So I actually don't have that in my brain.
Okay, so I
It's
just
just
think
a
that's funny
ridiculous-
that she wrote that one, and it's like the lyric is "Winter, spring, summer, fall. You've got to do is call, and I'll be there. Oh yeah, yeah. You've got a
Wait.
friend." So anyway, it just cracked me up. It was like
Wait.
Aquarius
Is
where-
that the Gilmore Girls theme song? And you need, I will follow. Is it that song?
I don't know.
Well, that's a Carole King song, and I'm a big Gilmore Girls fan. Team Logan,
Okay.
but maybe that's not that song. But either way,
That's funny. Okay,
I
two
mean-
more female Aquarians.
yes.
Sheryl Crow.
Oh,
Come on
Missouri
now.
gal, let's go. Local gal, Missouri, let's go. Kickapoo, Missouri.
Girls just want to, all I want to do is have some fun. That's
Yes.
very, very much an anthem for the Aquarius and Alicia Keys,
Oh,
Aquarian.
I mean, she's from the city of where big dreams are made of. There's nothing you can do now that you're in New York. You know, where something
That's
green
funny.
tomatoes. Anyway, I don't know. It was a meme.
Okay, well, Jake, let's see how far we can go with these Aquarian musicians. Okay, we
Okay,
were gonna do JT.
this is true. Okay, this is where we really need to go. That man,
Okay.
JT. We know who JT is. Justin Timberlake. Just making triple sure because we're doing our journalistic due diligence. Um, Nothing he can't do. I mean, I remember one time someone said apparently he could have been a career dancer, but that just wasn't enough for him. Like he is so good at dancing, he could have been a career dancer, but instead, he also had to sing. He also had to act. He also had to just be a lovable guy. Handsome, handsome sir. What's not to love? Also, I think that from what I understand, he has a close relationship with his mother, which is very sweet.
Oh,
So, shout out to the Mama's Boys, JT and
yeah,
JL.
yeah.
Anyway, what else should we know about JT?
And versatile, he collaborated with our friend Chris Stapleton. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
who
Like
we
he's
love.
versatile. Yes, yes,
Shout out to
yes.
Ethan if he's watching, my dear brother who loves Chris Stapleton along with many others, like the rest of America, but still.
All right. Did you go through all your Aquarius rappers, Jake? And did you
I
get
did
everybody
not.
there? Okay.
What do we got? We got Big Boy from Outkast, pushed all the bounds with Andre 3000. We had Riff Raff, the he was a meme rapper. People like him. I just think they're extremely likable people. All these people. Um, God, who else did I have? Oh, Kid Cudi, huge following. Everyone loves him. If you know him, you love him. Like it's love or hate, So there's his fandom goes really deep, and he talks about being the man on the moon, which is really interesting. I'm kind of curious. Aquarius. I wonder if his moon is in Aquarius. That would be really interesting.
Ooh, that's you guys. This is where the addiction comes in. Like once you start to figure out, like start putting the pieces together, these patterns. It's all about patterns.
Yeah.
That's why this. Okay, this is why astrology falls in the 11th house of like technology and all these other things, and also computers because computers are just patterns. 1, 2, it's what, right? Like on off, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's a study of patterns and seeing parallels and correlations and all this other stuff. So just riffing on just the astrology thing and all that. Anyway, okay.
Fantastic.
Going back.
Well, we are getting the high sign that we are all good in this
Oh, good.
proverbial hood. So everyone, if you'd like to get up out your seats, have some fun, and listen to the amazing sounds of DJ Mixtress